Welcome back to another episode of Swans Cast podcast, and 2 wins in a row, 2 big wins in a row, smiles on our faces because it is the double doube or the doube or the double, whatever you want to call it. Welcome back to another episode. We're talking about the 4th win on a bounce against those up the road, Cardiff. How many years was it until the first one? And then you just have to wait one more year till the second.
Yeah.
Never thought it would be imaginable.
110
years to the first double, and then you just
they all
come at once. They all come at once. So anyway, some good stuff to talk about. It was good stuff in the last one, and now it's even better. I mean, I got to mention it straight away, obviously, before we get into the sort of housekeeping stuff before we start, but it couldn't have been done in a better way. Especially after, I don't know if you saw the interviews from some of the Cardiff players. Swans have been rinsing them on TikTok about it. It was Mark Harris who was saying we owe those up the road. We owe it to our fans to maybe we can get a good early goal or maybe we can get a last minute winner. And it's
we did both. The social media team have been working overtime since the game. They're brilliant, and they just seem to up it every. I tell you what, Cardiff are going to go mental when they eventually beat us at some point because they've been upping it every year.
They do win, and they're very much overdue a good performance against us. You could argue they had a good performance, I guess, this time, but they didn't win. Nothing came of it. So, but I think I'm ready for that when it's their turn at some point. We've had really good run, and when it goes the other way, they're going to absolutely lap it up. That's what happens, and we're not going to win every game for the rest of our lives. It's just that's not realistic to think. But the way things are going, it might not be for a couple of years that we actually play them again. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit more going forward. But as always, thank you for the support. We have hit over 500. We're on 505 now, so we would like to continue to grow. We are going to do a giveaway at the start of next season because of the 500 milestone that we hit. So thank you very much. But if you haven't already subscribed, please click the big red subscribe button underneath Lee. So if he points down somewhere down there. And we really would appreciate your support as always. And click the thumbs up as well if you enjoyed that win against Cardiff, the double doube. And let us know in the comments about your match day experience, whether you were at the game or were you watching it at home. We're watching it somewhere else, very legally, because the stupid decision to put it on at 3:00, of course, on a Saturday. It's it's literally we won the double twice now, ever, and both times it wasn't on TV. How ridiculous! Yeah, we'll talk more about that later with the TV stuff. We went on a rant last time, but there's been a little bit of an update, but not the news perhaps we would have wanted to come with that sort of conversation anyway in regards to watching the football matches on the TV. So, but obviously there's only one place to start, and that is Swansea against Cardiff. So obviously if you've been living under a rock, you might not have seen that Swans did win 3-2 against Cardiff. So on aggregate for the last they've done a TikTok, haven't they, over the last 10 games, and it's something ridiculous. I know Cardiff scored 5 goals, but I forgot how many we scored.
It's ridiculous. Well, I was trying to think.
It was. I should get that up right now. But you were at the game. I unfortunately was hoping it was going to get moved because got to book it off work, and usually in the past it's always got moved to a Sunday. So I've tended to get the Sunday off, but didn't move it again, so I couldn't get the Saturday, unfortunately. So I wasn't able to go, but you were there. So if you would like to tell us about maybe the pre-match experience before we actually start talking about the games.
Yeah, pre-match, I just think it's getting on my nerves now with the bubble trip. It's just such a long day for our closest trip. I don't know how they can do it any better, but it's just such a faff because we had you leave the stadium at 11:45, say, for a 3:00 kickoff off the road. You got to go to the services then just outside of Cardiff, and then you're just stuck there for ages waiting for the police to come and bring in so many buses at a time, and you got to wait for them to come back to bring in another. It's just, I don't know how they can do it any differently, but hopefully they can just go straight to the stadium instead of waiting in the services. Just
Yeah.
by the time our bus left the services, it was like an hour and a half till kickoff. So all the football traffic was trying to go in as well. So it just took ages, and the police had to stop all the roads. And it was just like,
How long was you there before kickoff?
We got there about 45 minutes before kickoff, I think. So it was there in plenty of time, but it's just like just takes ages. I mean, considering Swansea 11:15, we're there by like 2:00ish. Actually, it was later than that because I remember the teams coming out while I was on the bus. So I think it was I don't know. It was probably about 2:15 that we got there.
The aggregate score, by the way, for the last 10 games was 18-4 to the Swans.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a bubble trip forever, but I don't know. It's still the only bubble trip left, isn't it?
They've obviously put a statement out for the antisocial behaviour, and we talk a bit about that later on. And there's the Swans fan, obviously, that got a little bit battered in the home end, to put it nicely. So yeah, maybe we'll touch on that later. But I just wanted to say in regards to the pre-match then. So you're in 45 minutes early. Obviously, there's videos doing the rounds on social media of Lee Trundle leading the orchestra.
Yeah.
Were you part of that? Did you see that happening?
Yeah, I saw Trundle there. In all fairness, there's always like a former player who's there. It's just this always feels like a massive occasion because you had like.
Who was it before? McBurney and Rodon.
McBurney was there and Rodon, and Leon Britton was there last year. I remember Trundle was there this year. I think Ben Lloyd, one of our academy players, was in the away end as well. On Saturday, so it's always just got a massive feel about it. In the away end, yeah. I saw a video come out afterwards. It showed him celebrating. It's just good. It is good.
Did you get any pints thrown over you?
Oh yeah, always classic.
Yeah. How much was the pint up there anyway?
I can't remember.
Got a good selection.
£5 odd, I think. £6. It's always Foster's in the Cardiff Stadium. It's awful. Always flat Foster's. Always
flat, just like their football team.
Yeah, always a flat Foster's. It's ridiculous.
Fair enough. Atmosphere then when you got to the ground, like up on the stands. I mean,
yeah, it's buzzing. I mean, like I said, it takes ages. Like on the buses, you can still feel it though. You can just feel everybody waiting to explode. And then as soon as you get into that stadium, it just all releases, and and you can feel it straight away when you walk in the stadium. That like big game feeling. Yeah, it's awesome. And then when you first get up into the concourse, then and all the Cardiff fans are there, and it's just you feel it straight away. I wonder what it's like to be a player when you first like walk out onto that pitch, because when you walk in as a fan as well, you're like game on.
Yeah, and I guess like you probably at the start of a football match. I mean, it's probably one of the loudest parts when you're just kicking off. Everyone's a bit excited. And 3 minutes in, and the first goal already. Like, imagine if you're at home for this fixture and you're a Cardiff fan, and you're probably like, we do win. We're gonna have a good performance here. Picked up a bit of form. Swans haven't been that good lately. 2 minutes in, and they're already 1-0 down thanks to Joel Price. Sorry, Joel Perot. Sorry, I was just quoting BBC there, BBC Cardiff, who would like to get the players' names wrong for the South Wales derby, calling Joel Perot Joel Price live on TV, which I actually thought was quite funny that the Swans official Twitter account clipped.
Yeah.
And I think they captioned it "No Price, No Party."
Yeah, I saw they've done a shirt as well where they hang it up in the dressing room with Price and 17 on it.
Oh, so I mean, their social media game is just on point, and let's be fair.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
Whoever is fair play, I don't actually know. I think I might have known in the past, but I forgot. But whoever is the admin of all these social media channels is doing a good job.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they understand the band. Like, there's some clubs out there that are just too professional when it comes to social media. But I just think you just get so much more engagement, and if you want to grow, that's the way to do it, because that's how stuff goes viral. No one likes the boring, like, oh, we just signed this player, or like someone scored or whatever. It's the memes and the little
it's so funny
TikToks they do in this. It's quite funny.
Good laugh, yeah.
So 2.5 to 3 minutes in, Joe Perot. It was like a throw-in, wasn't it? That they kind of took quick, but went up the line because Perot was basically standing on the goal line by the corner flag for the throw-in. None of the Cardiff players realised he was there. And he's allowed to run into the box and from quite a tight angle, just smashes the ball in the top right corner.
Yeah, it was a great finish. It was a really good finish, I think. Yeah, and just to score so early, it just settles in as well, doesn't it? Because like I said, early on in the game, there's all that tension. So to release that 2 minutes into the game, it was carnage. Great finish, though. Great finish.
Yeah. Were you expecting that?
No. Because we rarely score early goals, do we? No. It's always nice to get one early, and then it's kind of settled us in then.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about the first half then? I watched most of the second half after I finished work, but first half I was updates on Twitter, unfortunately, because I couldn't hide.
Yeah, honestly, I think first half was as good a performance we've seen all season. Again, it was kind of picked up where we left off against Bristol. We looked comfortable. I mean, Cardiff had a couple of... They didn't really have any chances, I would say. I think they had one header that went over the bar, which he might have done better, and a little scramble. But apart from that, it was all us in the first half. I mean, whether it was something they identified or not, but Perot was always making that run. You know, the run he makes for the second goal where he kind of he's wide right. He was always on that wide right, and he was always getting found with that inside ball. And it happened about 3 or 4 times before he got away, and then it led to the second goal. But we looked so comfortable.
It was you know, when we played against Bristol and we were calling them out saying Perot and Cullen were going left and right.
Yeah.
When it didn't work against Bristol.
Yeah, but it was weird because it was Perot was central, and then he was making that run wide right, and he was getting that ball in. Yeah,
that's what they were doing against Bristol, but it just wasn't working, was it? And then when they got the ball out wide, there's no one in the box. But I guess maybe it works better.
I can't remember who the defender was, but he was on this same defender's shoulder all through the first half. He was getting in behind him all the time. I think it might have been, but he was getting in all the time. And we just looked really comfortable. You just thought the second goal was going to come. You just felt like it was. And shout out to Liam Walsh, especially in the first half, was absolutely brilliant. I mean, you can't drop him at the moment. He was brilliant against Bristol, and I was surprised he actually started him. I thought he might go straight back to bringing Fulton back in, but he stuck with Liam Walsh. He was absolutely brilliant. He kind of does what Joe Allen does. He was just everywhere, winning the ball, putting tackles in, just winning back the ball all the time, and then recycling it cleanly. Yeah, and then recycling it and being clean on the ball. I thought he was excellent. So fair play to him.
I think it was McGuinness, the defender you're on about. They were on about on the radio, and I was listening to the end of the first half that Perot, Cardiff to the left, they were saying that it was quite weak defensively, and he was getting in behind all the time.
Yeah, he was.
Him and O'Dowda was there.
Something they identified, because it was honestly it was about 4 or 5 times in the first half where he made that run and he was getting in behind, and then literally that happened for the second goal, doesn't it? Manning plays that lovely ball in that channel and Perot is through on the right hand side, and then he hits the post and Cullen gets the header in. It was great.
The third time that's happened this season.
I know, yeah. It's just, but we talked about it before. We've been desperate for just a proper 9 that can score goals. I mean, he probably got a combined, 10 yards for all of his goals. But we're desperate for someone like that. And he's been brilliant since he's come in. So I was chuffed that Cullen scored in the derby as well, being
Well, it was Ollie Cooper last time, wasn't it? Ben Cabango's had, even though he's probably more local to Cardiff, Cabango, but he's had a couple now. So joins the club.
Yeah, I was chuffed. It was chuffed for Cullen to score. It was just and it was rocking then. And I thought, generally at that point, going 2-0 up, I thought this is gonna be like last year. And I'm, what I'm like. I'm always quite negative. I'd be like, it's not over, it's all this. But I genuinely thought that we were going to go on and win 2 or 3, 4-0 again, like last year. And then straight after we scored the second goal, it was a really poor goal to concede. I was so upset with that because it was like a launch ball forward, bounced a couple of times. The player picks it up, and Fisher. I'm sorry. I've tried to defend him a little bit, saying
here we go. Buckle in.
No, I think to be fair, I think it's justified now because we've tried to sort of be fair and say, all right, he's made a couple of mistakes. He can't get on his back too much. It's going to affect his confidence. but he has to save that. He's literally gone through the middle of his two hands. It's actually hit one of his hands. And it wasn't like an absolute belter of a shot. It was, it was a normal shot. He's got to do better there.
Yeah.
And I just think if we just don't concede that goal straight after, I know they say you're weak and after you've scored a goal, but if we don't concede that goal and carried on the way we play and just keeping the ball looking solid, and we go in half time 2-0 up, I'm still convinced we definitely go on and win that 3 or 4-0 convincingly. But then, because when the second goal went in, I've never seen anything like it. Right, I turned to my right, I could see all the Cardiff fans down that side, and there was just like loads of people leaving, whether they were going down early or going to the toilet or whatever, because it was only like 30 odd minutes into the game. You could hear boos, see fans walking down. The crowd had turned, they were gone. After what happened last year, and obviously the run that we've been on against them, being 2-0 up in the first half, the players and the fans are probably thinking, oh, here we go again. And you could feel that. And that's why I thought, we've got him here. This is going to be another...
To be fair, the guy who shot and scored, he probably only shot from there because they were like, do you know what, we're done here. I just need to get a shot off.
Yeah.
It wasn't it was literally straight down the keeper's throat. And like he's a lucky boy that we won that game, because it's kind of like, I feel like people have been forgotten about it. I haven't seen that much stick for him because everyone's so buoyant in the like celebrations of beating Cardiff for the 4th time in a row, of double of whatever, the last minute winner. People forgot about that, but we were only in the situation to get that last minute winner because of him, and he's lucky that they got it, because I think if they didn't, they probably would have been like, he thinks he's had it bad now. He picked the worst game to probably make one of his worst errors. Like, it's one thing passing the ball badly as a goalkeeper, when you're trying to play this possession football and you're putting your players in trouble. Maybe it's a gameplay you're not that quite used to or comfortable or good enough at doing. But you're a goalkeeper at the end of the day. So to not be able to save a shot that's literally coming at your face and it goes through your hands in the biggest game for your club, it's criminal, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, so, I don't want to sound too negative, obviously, after what happened, because it was fantastic. And then if you'd offered me that the way it went, instead of going on and winning 3-4-0, I would have taken it, because there's nothing better than the last minute winner. But I remember just being so annoyed because we were so comfortable, and I remember just sitting there at half time and I was thinking, that's going to cost us that goal. That's just going to, because like I said, the crowd had turned. You could see the body language of the Cardiff players, and I think you are right that he just sort of runs into that. I think the defending could have been a little bit better as well, because he just like coasts in.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think he's just like, I got to go in and get a shot off you.
Keeper saves that, it's a different world, and he should save.
Oh
He
yeah,
should catch it. Probably.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He should
no, I
catch
agree with you. I agree with you, and that changed the game then, because as soon as that goal went in, obviously the crowd lifts back up then at home. The crowd is up again. It's loud. They're singing, and you think that's just completely changed the game. And you are right. He's so lucky that we did come back and win that, because I think he would be getting a lot more stick, and I would have been so annoyed because we were so comfortable up until that point. So to concede there and then go in half time 2-1 instead of 2-0.
Yeah,
and they sort of got a bit of ascendancy then. So I think like we've tried to be lenient with him, but I think it's time now to just admit it's getting ridiculous, because like we done the one against Millwall as well, didn't he? Which was straight at him, and he's palmed it in. It's not good enough now. I know, like I won't go at him like people do on Twitter, which is ridiculous, or like boo our own players. But I think now I don't see a future with that, because that's ridiculous.
I just feel like there's
the level of mistakes is not good enough.
I just don't think he was making those sort of mistakes last season when he came.
No, he wasn't. No.
So I don't know what's gone wrong, what's going on there, but like maybe him getting dropped for Bender has really, really rocked him and knocked him. But if he can't deal with it, then if that's what it is, and he just can't perform at his highest standard now because he's so nervous, I guess you got to take him out. But I mean, we haven't seen this Sondergaard. He's been signed as a last minute, like, we need some backup here. You'd imagine from what Russell Martin sees in training, like, Fisher must still be the best option.
Yeah, I mean, we've probably cleared safe of like relegation now, and we probably won't get the playoffs. So I think Fisher just sees the season out. But I think like Bender comes straight back in next year after.
I wonder if they'll be in for a goalie in the summer.
Yeah, maybe.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because you just think of so many other key areas that need addressing as well. That if a fit Bender's there, then you should be fine.
I don't know. I mean, like you could probably keep Fisher as a number 2. I mean, 9 seasons out of 10, you don't lose your goalkeeper due to a serious injury, and it was such a random injury. He just came down from catching a ball and landed awkward on his knee. So, 9 times out of 10, you won't have to use your second goalkeeper unless you play them in the cup. So I think like Fisher's probably a good number 2 goalkeeper to have at the club, but I don't know. I just the level of mistakes he's making now, like the Millwall save, which was straight at him and he palms it into the net, and that Cardiff one was straight through his hands. I think
it's the second Cardiff one he was quite poor for as well, because the defender was bad too, but he could have come and tried to claim in that cross. The guy's got a free header literally like a metre away from him.
I think the confidence is gone, because there was a few where
he just comes and jumps in the air to punch it away. Like, didn't even try and do that.
To come out. He was reluctant to come out a few times. So I thought, why is he not coming out?
Do you think I might be in harsh for the second goal? Because I just think from where the player heads it. So who is it? It's Caba. From where he heads the ball, he's not actually that far from the goal line and Fisher, and it's like simple header into the net. And you can question mark whether the defenders are not there, but if the keeper can see there's no defenders there, and if you're going to be like, right, okay, I'm going to be in a situation he's got a free header and I've got to make that save, why don't you charge for the ball and try and punch the cross away? Surely you can jump higher with your hands than he can jump with his head.
Yeah, he probably could come out. I didn't really think about it for the second goal, to be honest, because you just sort of focus on the free header and you think, oh, something's gone wrong. But yeah, he wasn't that far out. Yeah, so I don't know.
I'm not saying like first and foremost.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I thought, but
I know what you mean.
If you've got a strong, I think Bender tries to come and deal with that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, probably. But I was gutted then, because it felt like we'd thrown it away then. You're just thinking, please God, like, don't lose this game now after being 2-0 up.
I'm going to try and get a freeze frame of this goal if I can. I could be being a bit harsh because it's kind of like he's running into it. I'm trying to think the defender is in the middle. Who's in the middle of the back three? Wood, was it?
Wood, I think, maybe.
He kind of just watches it happen. Someone's on the floor. Cabango's on the floor, isn't he?
I think Latibaudier is on the floor at the back post. The defender, the other attacking player, just like throws him on the floor, doesn't he? But he's marking his man, to be fair.
So Fisher's near post, and by the cross comes in and he kind of runs across his goal line. And then I can present it here. Sorry if you're listening to Spotify. I can't really show. Obviously, I can't show on Spotify, but I'm going to try and get it up now for... Here we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Fisher's kind of falling backwards at this point. He's come back from the near post from where the cross is. I guess, like, he's just got it wrong, isn't he, again? But the defending should be better, to be fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just think having a header that close to the goal line not being challenged even by the goalie. He's going straight above his head again.
Yeah,
like
fair.
Literally. There we go.
In on him now.
Yeah, well, just...
Yeah, well, no, it gets to a point where, like, it's going to cost you valuable points, isn't it? I mean, we're lucky now that we have sort of cleared from the relegation, but, making a mistake like that probably cost us a draw against Millwall and could have cost us 3 points there. They could have been massive points, but thankfully it's not. But yeah, I think it's just too many now. I think it gets addressed next year.
Well, the fact that Bender got the position in the first place, you can see why.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's no excuse for making that. Fair enough if it's one mistake in a season. Maybe 2, but making consistently, you're talking every 2 games he's making a mistake. Every 3 games. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. So I try not to go in on him too hard, but I think that's it now. I think
I'd like to see how many points we've lost because of his mistakes. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a few. Well, there we go. We'll stop going in on Fisher now.
Focus on the negatives, because maybe we should thank him because he gave us that moment. He made it happen.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
he saw the Mark Harris interview before. He's like, we're 2-0 up here.
Yeah, we need to go last minute winner.
We need this, last minute winner. Because
I
to be
will
fair,
say-
right? Go on, you carry on.
No, I was going to say, I will say, even though they did come back to 2-2, I think that was really harsh because I think even when we went to 2-1 then, like Perot had a really good chance where he went round the keeper.
Yeah, if he could have kept up with the ball, he just had a tap in, didn't he?
Yeah. And the first touch he makes is absolutely golden because it just one little touch that takes it away from the keeper, and then I think it just clips his other foot by accident, and it runs
That was
away
another
from him.
run in behind from Cullen, wasn't it? And then he plays it across the box.
Cullen and Perot are starting to really link
Yeah.
up now. I think really well. I think the more games they've played together, that ball into Perot is inch perfect. Anywhere else, and the keeper gets it, or Perot's got to stop, and it's inch perfect. Perot takes the absolute perfect first touch, and I think he's just unlucky that it clips his other leg, and it just goes a little step too far.
I wonder if he can slide and swing his legs to hook around and score. But you just
but then that and that would have been game over there. That would have been 3-1, and that would have been game over. So I think we were still good value for a win, even though we needed a last minute winner. And I think Darlin had a shot in the first half that literally would have been goal of the year because he hit it from miles out and it's just missed the post. And then you had the Grimes one at 2-2 where he hits the bar, and that would have been...
the Grimes one was...
I was
so gutted that didn't go in, man.
He would have deserved it as well, for him to score the winner.
Yeah. So for context...
And that type of goal as well.
For context, for anyone that hasn't seen, I think it's a corner routine. And the ball comes out of the box, basically to Grimes, who's on the edge of the box. And it bounces, and he kind of on the half volley, sort of, I don't know how to describe it, tilts or bends his body to the opposite way that he's going to kick. Obviously, you've got, say you sort of lean one way, lean's a better word, lean to the left, swings his foot out to volley the ball, or the right, whatever way he does it, and catches it perfectly with the technique, rockets it, but it just hits the crossbar. One of them ones that doesn't even need to dip because it's just a rocket that's going into the top of the net, but it just hits the crossbar and bounces the wrong way. It was a hell of a shot. If that went in, there would have been scenes.
I'm gutted for him because I think just because he's been so unsung, hasn't he? And I think now he does get the recognition. And as our captain, for him to score the winner in the derby like that, the way he hits that, when he's shaping to hit it, I was thinking, it's Rosed, because the way he has to bend to try and get his leg under it or just over it so he can keep it down. I'm just thinking there's no way he can do that. And the way he caught it and it just smashes against the bar. Can you imagine that hits the bar and goes in just off the bar?
I mean, I don't know if that probably would be better than a last minute winner, the way, because it was an absolute rocket. That would have been goal of the season.
Literally.
I doubt that would have been goal of the season.
I'm absolutely bouncing. Obviously, we scored last minute, but I'm gutted that he didn't get that goal because it would have been, you would have played that forever, wouldn't you? That volley, that winner in the derby, if it just came off the bar and went in.
Yeah. And it's not even where our hit in the woodwork ends, because obviously we had the free kick right at the end where Fulton took the free kick. I thought he might actually seen where the position was. His first attempt was actually quite poor and he hits the wall. Or you could say he plays a 1-2 off the wall because it comes back to him and he does a nice little shot to the bottom right corner that actually comes off the post, which gives Cabango the tap in for the 99th minute winner. And there's only 6 minutes of added time and there were 5 minutes of added time. So I can't remember what happened to make it.
Yeah, what happened? It was as soon as they put the board up, 2 players went down injured. So there was a good 3 minutes or whatever before they actually started the extra time.
They subbed one of them off as well, didn't he? Perry NG went off in the 90th.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, he went off injured at that time. So that was a good couple of minutes.
Yeah,
and that was as we went into 90.
The foul to actually give this free kick away was in the 97th.
Yeah, a great turn by Patterson as well, that should be mentioned, to get that free kick. Because I think he's in.
He could well have easily scored.
Yeah,
he's in.
Yeah. Oh my God. Off the post, off Latabo Diaz shin, nice assist. And Cabango to tap in. And
did he get the assist for it? Did they give him the assist?
I don't know if
they have.
They have given him the assist.
Yeah.
He meant it.
Well, I mean, take that away and bend.
And I got to be honest, I have never ever experienced like an atmosphere like that or a celebration like that in my life.
I was punching a sofa in my house.
I lost. I will admit that I absolutely lost the plot. Like out of body experience.
Did anyone fall down in the stands?
Oh yeah, no. Well, I was stood by the safe standing thing this time, but they got them all in the away end now. I think those are good, by the way. That's probably something they should have them. I think they're really good, the safe standing things. But last year I remember when the third goal went in, which was Wolf, I think, with a header. I ended up like 7 rows further down when the celebrations like sort of quieted down. This time I was just like over the bar, and it's just like it's ridiculous. You just think you sort of come through then, and you're thinking, what have I just done? But I got to be honest, like playoff final, League Cup final. I was at Arsenal when Michu scored 2, and I thought they would never be topped. But I think 99th minute winner in the derby, that tops it all, 100%. Best thing I've ever experienced as a Swans fan, I think.
Yeah,
brilliant. It was just, you never think it's a football fan's dream for someone to score in the last minute in a derby. I mean, it was 100 times better than winning 4-0 last year. I thought I'd be wrong and that wouldn't be beaten, but that's something else. Because when the goal went in as well, I thought there's no way. There was this moment. There was just like there's no way we scored here. So I was looking. I was like, is it offside? Is something's gone on? Like there's no way. And then
I thought the offside flag was going to go up. To be honest,
yeah, I just thought like there's. Because you just don't think, dude, there's no way we're going to score in the last minute here.
We never.
My thought was like, we've got a free kick here. Maybe that means we've got a draw now. Maybe we're probably safe with a draw now. We won't throw this away. And then they scored, and it was just.
We never score last minute winners, and we never score from free kicks.
Yeah, I could. Never. I can't even explain it. It was just mental. And then nothing will top it.
What I would say, though, is after Cardiff did get back to 2-2, I feel like they kind of accepted a draw and gave up. I got the impression that they were not bothered on trying to get a win. Yeah, and it went straight back to us in terms of like being well on top, and that's when obviously Grimes had his chance. And
yeah, I was quite surprised that we played like that, because when it went back to 2-2, like I think a lot of people would admit we were just like, just don't lose this game now.
We'd already made defensive changes at that point as well.
Exactly. So I thought, let's just see it out. But then, like thinking back to the game, I think we just dialed it up again. I think the ball was probably more like at the right end for us after the 2-2 than it was at the other end. I can remember we had a couple of free kicks late on, and Patterson was getting forward, and Perot was still getting forward, and some of the midfield, like Grimes was like how far forward he was when he hit the bar. I know it was from a corner, but we were committing men forward, so credit to them. They went for it, and they got it in the end.
We also had 5 yellow cards to Cardiff.
Oh, yeah. There was a spell. There was a spell in the game though, where the ref was just dishing out cards. It was just after half time. Yeah, I was crediting him in the first half because he was quite consistent. He was letting the game go, like loads of like little pushes and shoves and all that. He was letting go, no like silly free kicks, and the game was really flowing. And it was for both sides as well. I remember thinking like we would sort of stick a foot in, and I thinking, that's a free kick, but he was letting it all go, and he was doing the same for us. And then there was that like sort of 10-20 minute spell. He was just dishing out cards for everything.
Don't you think it's nice that we stick a foot in for change though?
Oh yeah. Some of the yellows that were a bit harsh. Like in Cham's one, he got the ball and he booked him, and then he took Cham off because he'd been booked, and he took someone else off who'd been booked. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, didn't Felter come on half time, didn't he, for Cundle?
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
And or just half time, and then he took Cham off for Lee Cooper, and he got a yellow card. Like
Fulton and Cooper got booked then. Yeah. So it was like, it's like someone, he took Cham off because he'd just been booked, and then our 2 midfielders were in the book then. But it is nice. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You can see like they're up for it. Like Liam Walsh was putting his body everywhere, especially in that first half. He was putting his foot in everywhere.
The kit man did the pre-match talk, didn't he?
Yeah, I really like that content as well. They released like inside the changing room. That's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to see.
I quite like that.
It's a good part of what the club's doing at the moment is the social media. I know we mentioned it earlier, but it's not just the banter. It's like general. They just put in good stuff out there. It's nice to see.
Yeah, I liked watching that, and like doing all the changing room stuff. And I think it's really good.
But it just makes you see as well. Also, we were talking a couple of weeks ago as he lost the dressing room, and the win against Bristol and this, I think I tweeted after the game, if you ever wanted evidence that he still has the dressing room, then this game shows that. Because it's not like, for a start, it's a win against your biggest rivals. You bottled a 2-goal lead and then got a last-minute winner. Like, if you lost the dressing room, then they come back 2-2, and you're not getting that last-minute winner, and having the scenes that come from it as well. And he has brought Jamie Patterson back into the fold where he looks useful. I wouldn't say he's back to his old self, but he did do that turn. He was in.
Yeah, I think he done right when he came off the
kick,
bench.
So.
Yeah. Done right when he came off the bench. I thought
whatever happened there, like he's managed to get something out of him, and it has all of it combined with an upturn in form to an extent. So he has had a lot of challenges. I think maybe we don't recognize the mental part of some of the stuff it has on the squad, like the whole situation with Obafemi. Like maybe that makes the squad morale drop quite a lot more than we give it credit for, especially with a young group of players, because I know Martin likes to say about the young age quite a lot. Just look, 4 wins against Cardiff, you cannot question that. I'm not saying that should save him forever, but credit.
It was interesting. He said it in his he said in the press conference after, he said, like, to the reporter, I think he said, one of you said that I'd lost the dressing room. I think that shows, like, that answers that with the way that the players are. I think was asked the other day when I went, just to plug it, when I went on the radio on Monday morning.
BBC Radio Wales. What time was it? Like, stupid o'clock in the morning?
About 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
Okay, well, not that bad.
A bit earlier than I would like to get up on a Monday after the derby win. But no, it was worth it. So, but they sort of said, why 110 years, we've probably had better squads throughout our time and still haven't been able to do a double. So why this squad? And I think it's hard to put your finger on it why we're winning. I think more so, although I will give credit to Russell Martin, because he's really bought into it, hasn't he? Like, even from the first derby last year that he's had, and then what he did for the away game, he had the players at the stadium, didn't he? And the bus leaves with all the fans as well. And he did that again this year, just to soak it all in. It really feels like you're part of it. And then we've had, like, the ex-players and stuff in the away end. I know that was before Russell Martin's time, but included in that, and he comes out on the pitch before the game to clap the fans, and you just really feel like something is happening. You all feel part of it. And I think I will give credit to him on that, because obviously in the like you said, it's not going to just winning those games is not going to save him. It's just the rest of the games that are going to be important. But in terms of the derby, he's proper bought into it. Before the Bristol game, he was saying we need to win the Bristol game to take into the derby, whereas other managers would be like, one game at a time. You got to play your game in a big game, and it tends to have been like really cagey, isn't it? But he's just like, no, it's not a normal game. It's massive. We want to win it, and I think all the players are bought into it as well.
Yeah,
and you can see now the way they celebrate after the game is ridiculous. Like, they have all just really bought into how important the derby is.
I saw a TikTok from a Cardiff fan earlier saying that Swansea should be deducted points for the way that they celebrated. So,
yeah, but tough shit. That's how important it is.
He was a Norwich fan.
That's how important it is.
You've seen all these other fans of all these other teams in the league, like, saying, why are Swansea celebrating like they've won the league?
Yeah, as if, though, like Norwich, as if they didn't score last minute against Ipswich, they wouldn't go berserk. But it's refreshing to see, though, from the players, because it means that they actually care about the derby. You see, like, on the other hand, when you've got players like Connor Wickham, clearly don't care about the derby.
Connor Wickham being filmed with the laughing gas, obviously, after the game, I would say. A nice little balloon to his mouth, being investigated. I think that's how he celebrated losing.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's great, because everyone moans that, like, players maybe don't show enough passion and they don't care and they just pick up paychecks and do this. But, like, you see the players there have all bought into how important that game is. So if they celebrate like they won the league, that's massive for me, because that means they want to play for the club and they know how important it is to win the derby. You don't want... we just talked about the bench emptying as well for the 99th minute winner. That was great. because when I looked to see if the flag was offside, I just seen like all the substitutes running onto the pitch, and I just thought that's amazing. So if other fans want to be like celebrating like you won the league, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Same.
Imagine they just like scored that last minute winner though, like little celebration, clap,
and then the offside.
Like, oh yeah,
VAR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the formation a bit, just because I think when we were having that period where we were just talking about the Bristol game earlier, the Bristol game in the Cup, where we went away and we were talking about Cullen and Perot peeling off left and right. We had a really good first half, but didn't make chances. We had a midfield of Grimes, Fulton, Allen. I think we said it needs to be more attack in there and bring them on at the end.
Yeah.
Don't play the three of them. So obviously we started here with Cham, Walsh, Cundle and Grimes behind them. And I just think we just offer so much more going forward. We look more of a threat. And then when you get the lead, you can shore it up by bringing like an Allen and a Fulton on.
Yeah.
Just seems to work better.
Yeah. You can't. There's no way you can change at the moment. Walsh has been absolutely brilliant as well. I think we look 100 times better going forward. Like we said, like how like uncreative we've been, like with all the ball we have, and we don't get any shots on target, and we haven't been looking good in front of goal. But like you said, we were good value for that win. I mean, we scored 3. We could have scored way more. Grimes at the bar. We had a couple of Perot had a couple of half chances, and Cham had a chance in the first half. We looked like we could score every time we went forward. We were so much better. I think Cullen as well has been great with Perot. They're really starting to find their stride now, I think, in that formation that you're saying about. I think these two, that formation suits the way that those two can play together. Maybe it's just taking time, like with Obafemi going as well, because you've got to find a new way to play, really, haven't you? Because every player plays differently. So maybe it's just taking a bit of time to sort of get those partnerships working,
Obafemi's quite different with his speed as well.
Exactly, yeah, completely different player. And Russell Martin spoke about it before the game and like after the game last year. Like they played in a way that would release Obafemi because of his pace.
Yeah.
And this time, obviously, they've got to play in a different way. So yeah, it's been brilliant. But I think shout out as well to Darlin playing right back. I think he's been a breath of fresh air. I think he's been brilliant. He was great again on Saturday. He was brilliant. He went off injured, which was a shame. So I hope he's not out for too long.
I've not seen anything about his injury yet.
I think it suits him so well because I think when he was in the middle of the park, obviously it's a step up to the Championships. He's obviously not going to do all the stuff on the highlight reels that you've seen from League One. And I think he was just more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like more pressurized there, like more vulnerable, should we say, in the middle. But now that he's playing out on the right, you can really see his like footballing ability. Like he's playing lovely balls. He's actually got a little bit of pace about him as well. He gets forward. Like he came forward, and I said he nearly scored an absolute screamer. And he actually should have scored because Cardiff took a quick free kick in the first half, and the keeper came out to take it, and they messed it up. And the keeper was like the other side of the pitch, and it came to Darlin, who was like on the halfway line. And from the angle I was at in the away end, it was just an open goal. He just had to. Obviously, it sounds easier than it is, but he had to just shoot, and he didn't. He sort of hesitated, but I think he had the ability to do it. There was no keeper at home. It was, and there was nobody in front of him. We sort of like half thought about it and then passed it, and it was like I think he just got caught in two minds.
Yeah,
it was a massive chance.
Would you prefer him or Latifodia there going forward if you had to choose?
Yeah, absolutely. The way he's been playing, he's been 100 times better because he's solid defensively because he is a defender, and then going forward, he's brilliant because he loves to go forward anyway because he does it from centre back. And I think he's always been a good, tidy footballer. So from that position, he's under less pressure and he's been playing, lovely passes. There was lovely movements where he was just offering himself all the time. And I think it's worked. Whether or not, being a centre back will affect him in the long run. Like maybe, if we come up against like an electric winger on that side, I don't know how we would cope with it. But the way that we keep the ball and he's there, I think it's perfect at the moment. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyone else you want to talk about before we move on?
Yeah, well, I've said about Walsh when he was great. I think the last 3 games we've played have been our best 3 performances in ages. It was the Millwall game, the Bristol game, and the Cardiff game, and that has literally been since Darlin went to right back and Walsh came in when Latifodia and Fulton were out banned, weren't they, for the 2 games, and I think they've just taken their chance. And I thought Wood was good as well. Manning
Martin was
brilliant.
talking about Wood potentially being transfer target for other teams in the summer.
Yeah,
Racing themselves for offers for him.
Yeah, he got under 21 call up to knee for England, so that probably attracted a bit of attention. But I thought he was great on Saturday. Cabango was brilliant. When I said Cardiff had a scramble in the first half, there was like 3 or 4 like crosses or shots that came in, and he cleared every single one of them. Because I remember talking to one of my friends who was next to me. I was like, "Oh, Cabango, well done, Cabango! Oh, it's Cabango again and again and again."
Good to see that, and good to see Manning performing still, obviously, when he's on his way out as well. So.
Yeah, and his celebration at the end, even though he's not going to be there, you can see how much he loves it. Can we not offer him a contract?
Well, probably not, unless we go up, and I can't see that happening. I think we are, speaking of league position though, 15th at the moment, 49 points. Cardiff 21st, 39 points. I'm gonna say we're safe now. I'm gonna say we're safe.
Yeah,
we are safe.
I think we're safe. Yeah.
I can't see it happening where we lose. Even if we lost every game to the rest of the season, do not think the bottom 3, whoever they're going to be, will get 49 points.
No. QPR just had points deducted as well. They're falling like a stone.
How many do they have?
Oh, not QPR, sorry. Reading got deducted points.
Reading. And I was talking to one of the
Wigan
boys at work who's a card, and he reckons Huddersfield to do a points deduction.
Oh, never.
Which is a nightmare, because that's going to save them, maybe. I mean, they're literally joint on points with Huddersfield. So they both
and they got to play Huddersfield.
Yeah, Cardiff's running is quite...
It's awful. It's terrible.
Not for us. I mean...
Because I was having a look at it on Saturday on the way back on the bus, and they've got to play Blackpool next game.
Not a good game to go to away after you just lost to your big rivals.
Yeah, but how important is that game as well?
Well, I know, but we don't want to go there on the back of a defeat to your rival.
Exactly. And they've got to play... They've got
Sunderland at home, which is hard. Sunderland are obviously flying high at the moment. I say flying high, they've dropped down a bit the last couple of weeks, but it's still a tough game. And then they've got Sheffield United away. That's not easy. Watford away. That's not easy. And they've got a new manager these days again, haven't they? So Stoke at home, for them, has got to be a must-win. Yeah. Then the replay against Rotherham away, which they 1-0 up. That's
massive game.
That's difficult. Like a reset, 0-0 is going to be from scratch. I know they're going to court about it and all that, but can't see them winning. They're not very good at winning court cases, are they? So,
oh God, ouch.
I shouldn't laugh about that.
Brutal.
Anyway, yeah, they're going to Rotherham away. So it's one of them where they were 1-0 up. You just know that it's not going to be that easy. Playing Rotherham have got a chance to correct that. Huddersfield at home and Burnley away.
Huddersfield
at home. It's either the teams around them or the top end.
Yeah, there's nothing in the middle.
Sunderland in the middle, just Sunderland.
Just Sunderland. Yeah, but you got to think as well, like Huddersfield, Warnock as manager, and that's the last but one game of the season.
It's either going 2 ways, right? They got like 3 6-pointers there. If you win them all, happy days. If you lose
I think you're right. Yeah,
you're in trouble.
If they lose to Blackpool on Saturday, that's
Blackpool back up to 38. That's 1 point between them. Then
it's massive. Isn't it?
They have got a game in hand because of the, but it's against Rotherham.
Rotherham, though, yeah. So that's a 6.
And Rotherham are ahead of them now.
It's mental how it works though, because I remember when Cardiff were beating Rotherham on that Saturday, because we had Bristol on the Sunday. Cardiff were a point behind us. So if they'd won that game and we'd lost against Bristol City, we would have been going into the derby a point ahead of Cardiff, and they were clear. And then obviously the game gets called off, and then we win against Bristol, and obviously we beat them then as well. And all of a sudden we're safe, and they're like a point off the relegation zone, just like that.
That's 9 points, though, isn't it? I'd take 3 off their win from Rotherham, and we had 6 from the last 2. So
yeah, 9 points win.
Although they had a draw, so it must have been a little bit different. They drew against West Brom, didn't they? So they did get a point, but
I think they'll probably stay up. To be honest, I think they might stay up, but
it's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's how they come back from this now, isn't it? Is important, but I
I
think
think this Blackpool game is the one to judge them on.
this is a massive game.
If they win that game, I'll probably say they will stay up. But if they lose against Blackpool, that's going to give Blackpool the confidence, and that's like, I don't know, it's hard to recover from that, isn't it? A loss against
Tell you what,
rival
you've got to look at
Blackpool.
you've got to look at QPR as well. It's ridiculous. They've only had like 12 points in something like 26 games or whatever. They were
Yeah,
second.
they got a worse run than we are on.
They were second for ages.
How is it just fallen apart?
I thought our collapse was bad. I think QPR is the biggest collapse I've ever seen in a season.
I don't understand it though. What happened? Like,
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the detail. Like, not followed it that closely, but
they've actually conceded more goals than us now as well.
I literally have never seen a drop like it.
They can't score
posted
either.
it. Someone posted on Twitter in the week, and it was like it screenshotted them. I think it was after 16 or 17 games. They were second in the league, and now it's 30 odd games.
I remember they were up the top end for ages.
Like way down. They lost to Wigan the other week as well, didn't they? Which was a big loss. Yeah, I don't know. So they're ones to watch because I don't think I can't see them winning another game.
They beat Watford a couple of games ago, but Watford are so up and down.
Yeah,
it's a bit nuts actually.
But I'm not saying it as well. Like, I want to, just because I want Cardiff to go down and be funny. It's not like that, but it'd be quite nice to have a break from the derby, if you know what I mean. If we have because what have we had now, like 5 seasons in a row of derbies.
Yeah,
I think it'd just be nice to have a year off, just because. And it's easier saying it now because we've won the game. It's not like we've lost 4 and it's like, I don't want the derby. It's just, I think it's like a massive distraction and it's stressful. I think we would have maybe a better season if Cardiff win in the league. That's just my thought.
Maybe we go up and they can come back up then, and we already be ahead.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's even better as well when you don't have it for like a couple of years as well. Like, we've had our fun
and then
now,
it's built up again in the year. So we'll just keep the 4 in the row until a couple of years' time. Where
that would be nice as well. See, because we can bank those 4 in a row then, and then
enjoy them for a long time.
Enjoy them for a longer time, or we can just do 6 next year.
Imagine Russell Martin stays here for like 10 years and it's just undefeated.
Yeah,
every year just beat some.
I think it just the question is now with the derby every time it comes around, it's just like, when are we going to lose, isn't it?
I just feel every time I'm going in. I felt it the first leg this year. We've done the double. I mean, even before the double, we didn't have bad form against them. I think we drew one the year before. I think. I was like, it's been a while. They do one. They're not going to want to take the double lightly, and then we go and beat them again. And then this time, I'm like, they're not going to want it to happen twice. Like, it's only happened once in 110 years. Like, what's the chances of it happening twice?
I thought this was the one. When I was going to the game, I just thought, it's got to be, surely. Like, there's no, like you said, there's no way it's going to happen twice in 2 seasons. I just thought this was going to be the one, and that's the feeling I had going into the game. And then, mental. But someone said to me, and it was like, they're probably right. They said, like, look, like, if we play our best game and Cardiff play their best game, we'll beat them.
Yeah.
There's so many people that were confident we were going to do it again. And barring that Fisher mistake, I think we would have gone on and done like 3 or 4-0 again.
Yeah. Their style, they haven't got, what is their style of play at the moment? They've gone through so many managers recently as well. They just,
but I also
they haven't got a like.
But every time they play us as well, they seem to have a different team.
I know.
There's always players that I don't follow Cardiff on a weekly basis, but it just always seems to be new players I don't recognise. No, like every time they play us, it's like a new team, new manager, new team, and then like they've got all these random players coming in from everywhere that obviously we haven't heard of. And I don't know. Like in the derby's gone before, he'd be like, oh shit, like Bellamy's there, Bothroyd was there, Ramsey was there, Whittingham was there. You're like, what, that's a hell of a team. Yeah, you're thinking, it's a good team. You knew it was a good team, but now, like, I don't recognise half these players.
Yeah, but only the last season or 2, I think, because obviously we had
a
few of the regulars since we come down.
Yeah,
Morrison and all that, and Flint. I don't even know who's going forward. Well, Kiefer Moore, yeah. But now I actually like who started. So like I know they only sounded Dowder in the summer, didn't they?
Yeah.
Wintle, Ralls,
Role was
NG.
always there, isn't it? Yeah. And G, yeah.
And maybe Ojo was there last season. Otherwise, I don't recognise most of them.
They had, obviously, Callum Robinson was playing well. He got sent off in the first game, didn't he? And now he's
He's not
nowhere
even
to
on the
be seen.
bench.
Yeah,
Romain
he's injured,
Sawyers
I don't
came
know.
on here, Connor Wickham. I mean, where was Harris? He's giving it a big one. He wasn't even there.
Yeah, I know. He scored a couple of goals for them as well. He scored a really good goal for them. One game I watched, I can't remember it was on TV, I watched it, but he scored a screamer.
That Ruben Caldwell, who next big thing, he's had a bit. He hasn't done nothing lately, have he?
Yeah, I think he did put the cross in for their goal, didn't he? But
yeah, he got the assist, but like even for Wales, he's gone off a boil a bit. I think there was reading that he's been injured and he struggled to come back.
Ah, right, yeah.
Especially under the manager changes and all that.
Yeah.
Isaac Davis is the other one that's meant to be one for the future. And he didn't come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the goalkeeper, like they got two different goalkeepers. Anyway, it's enough about Cardiff. Let's move on. So Russell Martin's obviously hoping to use that and a win against Bristol to move the season forward and finish strongly. Don't think we're really playing for anything now, are we? Just a good mid-table finish, but it's kind of like see the season out. But you always want to end it well, start the next season the best you can.
I think like it was a lot on those two games, wasn't it? They were like, for this season, it was like two massive games for us, wasn't it, to beat Bristol and Cardiff? Because I think prior to that, we were starting to look over our shoulder and we were like, oh shit, we could really slip down here if teams start picking up wins. I mean, it started to go, didn't it? We were like 11, then it was 8 to the relegation zone. We were like, it's coming now. So then to win those two games to just put us clear of our relegation, that was massive. So now I think you're right. I think we just need to sort of look at what's going to happen next season. Like, I'd like to see him just maybe try some different things ready for next year, bring some youngsters into play. Let's see Congreve a bit more. Let's maybe, by all accounts, that Liam Smith is tearing it up already for the under 23s. So, let's give him a game. Just little stuff like that, because I know it's sad to say, but like, if Manning's not going to be here, I know we haven't really got an option, but have we not got a left back in the under 23s that can come on 10 minutes?
The Lincoln McFadden.
Let's just start doing it. But like also as well, we got to be careful because I think like at the end of last season, like we were talking with me before we started, like we went to Reading, didn't we, on the bank all day Monday. And we were like 4-1 up and come back to 4-4, and it happened a couple of times then, didn't it? At the back end of last season, and you think, it doesn't matter because the season's over, but like it fed into the start of the season then, didn't it? It like carried on. So like you kind of need to get a bit of consistency to tick into next year as well.
Yeah.
So, a couple more wins, couple more good performances we want, just the way we've been playing, and maybe just see some youngsters sprinkled in who might be that's what I want to see for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I was just reading the comments on the video of the game, and one of them is, I thank Fisher for making them limbs possible.
Yeah, it's true.
Crazy. Also, I'm going to clarify the Felton. Grimes' shot at the crossbar was from a free kick, not from a corner.
Right.
Which is probably why he was on the edge, because I think he goes in the box for corners these days. So just until someone calls me out in the comments, I just want to clarify that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if we can shore up the defence going into next season, that would be a good target, I think.
Yeah, I think the way they played last two games, I know we conceded 2 on a weekend, but like Wood and Cabango and Darlin and Manning seem to be quite an established back four for now.
Well, we know Manning's not going to be part of it.
Yeah, if we could just if we could sign Manning a new contract, we'd be laughing because that back four could play for the rest of the season and just keep working at it. But yeah, never mind. He's so good as well, man, and he plays that ball through the pro for the second goal. It's inch perfect as well. Never mind.
And last then, we're going to move away from the derby, and I just wanted to talk about something that we talked about last week, but carry it on slightly. So we spoke about how annoying it was that the game was actually 3:00 on a Saturday, and then we went on to the bigger sort of agenda of why can't you watch all the football matches in the UK, whereas other countries can? We're very limited. It's not even like, we miss out on some, we miss out on a lot, and it's more the further down the league system you go.
Yeah.
So it came to light that the bidding was up for the EFL matches. Premier League is next year, I think. And DAZN did put a bid in where they were saying they were going to offer streaming of every single match in the EFL. And I think you worked out how many that equated to.
Yeah, I think it was between Championship League 1 and League 2, it was like 1,670 games in total.
Yeah, and they were going to offer streaming for all of it. I don't know what the package would look like, how they were going to do it. Obviously, DAZN is like a Netflix sort of thing, isn't it, rather than a Sky TV.
Yeah.
It's more of a sport app, Netflix sort of subscription channel. Obviously, they probably, the biggest thing they have or have had or started with was boxing and UFC, I want to say. They do.
Yeah.
I know Eddie Hearn's quite involved with DAZN.
Yeah, it's his thing, isn't it? I think he owns it. I think. But yeah, it's boxing.
I think he's got some big involvement in it. I don't know if he's like who set it up, but he's quite involved, I believe.
Yep. And they have had some like Spanish games on there for a while as well, I think.
Yeah, so they're trying to broaden themselves out in sport. And I thought that was a really good idea. But the bad news is that the EFL have confirmed that Sky Sports are the preferred bidder. And they use the quotes. The EFL has now completed a full and comprehensive review of multiple submissions received as part of its broadcast rights sales process from 2024 onwards. The league will now enter into an exclusive month-long negotiating period with the preferred bidder, Sky Sports. No further comment will be made in this matter at the current time. Currently, Sky Sports hold the rights for the EFL in a $119 million a year deal, and they show just 138 games live each season. And I think that worked out as 2 championship matches each week, 20 League One matches over the year, and 10 from League Two. Whereas DAZN were going to show every single match from all of the leagues. How can... So I don't know what the finances involved, like what Sky is offering compared to like DAZN. Apparently BT Sport and another company, Swedish company called Viaplay, also bid. So I don't know what the difference is in offers were. You'd imagine DAZN must have put a big offer in saying they were going to show all of the games. Like, how is that not going to generate more money for the football system? Obviously, Sky are paying off the EFL directly, which they must have gone for the bid that had the most money given to them, surely.
Probably.
But then if you are Sky, why would you bid the highest amount of money but show less games? I just don't get it. Something weird going on there. There must be.
It is weird because what would you say? 138 games. I think we worked out that was 8% of all games in the EFL. It's awful in this
Why
this
is that the
day
best?
and age.
Like,
no,
surely you can, even if the general bid for the rights is a bit less than what Sky are offering, if they're showing more games, isn't that more lucrative overall?
Yeah, I get it for both sides as well, because I was looking at some of the comments and there were some fans of League 2 and League 1 clubs saying, well, that would hurt them more because they would suffer more from fans not going to games where they really need people going to the games. So I kind of get that. Probably doesn't affect championship clubs as much because they've got bigger fan bases than some of them. So I get that. But I think it's getting ridiculous now that you've got to pay all this money. You've got to pay for Sky, you've got to pay for Amazon, you've got to pay for PT. We've been through this. You've got to pay for all that. You pay for your season tickets, so you can go to all the home games. And then, there's no way on earth, barring some small percentage of people that can go to every single game. Why can't I watch my team? That's ridiculous. The Cardiff Swans game, how big that is. Why can't we watch it? Obviously I was lucky enough to have a ticket, but like you work, for example, and other people work on Saturdays or whatever. Why can't they watch this game? Why is Sky get to decide they deem that this game is not big enough, so therefore you can't watch it?
It seems to me Sky's a bit protected here as well.
Oh yeah, massively.
It's the EFL like a Sky Sports Championship anyway? It's not, is it? What's the sponsor?
Oh no, it used to be Sky Bet, didn't it?
Yeah, is it still
Sky Bet now? I don't know. Actually, it's a good question.
I will Yeah, it is. It is still. I wonder if
Maybe that's
some
part of it.
underhanded money going on here. You know,
Maybe that's part of it. Yeah, you're right. I forgot it was Sky Bet. I remember it being like N Power and Coca-Cola Championship. They were the best
it's
ones.
just the limitation and control. I just don't understand it. Like, and I know you say I don't know if I fully agree with it not benefiting the smaller clubs anymore. I feel like that's a mentality that's sort of. I feel like that's a bit of propaganda at this point from the likes of Sky and the EFL.
Well, no, this was comments from people on Twitter though, like
no, I know,
fans
but
of
what
those
I'm
clubs.
saying is like they can't answer that definitively though. Even those fans, how can they answer that question? It's never happened, so they don't know. They don't know if it will or not affect people going to the games.
No, just playing devil's advocate. Or like personally,
I understand that.
I wouldn't like if I could do that. If I could watch every game, I would still go to games. Like personally, and I know a lot of people be saying, "Look, let's be realistic. There's a lot of people out there now who do watch every game anyway. That's out there anyway. There's a lot of people who do it. A massive percentage of football fans, I would say, find a way to watch the games anyway, and the crowds are still as they are. So
yeah, that's what my argument would have been.
Yeah, so I think it doesn't really make sense. And that, well, the only thing I can see, I would want to know how it worked in terms of like the funding, because if like the Zone pay the EFL X amount, then they can show every game. Then you got to make sure that money paid to the EFL is properly distributed throughout the system. Then I don't see a problem with it. The best solution for me, and we've said it before on this, would be why can't they give the rights to the individual clubs like they have done, where you can buy like the game off the club, and the money goes directly to the club. But then I guess like the DAZN one would probably
work with the clubs and say like, look, here's the base fee. Because we're showing so much more games, we'll have the opportunity to generate so much more money, but we'll generate it through the clubs where they will charge their fans like a fan subscription for their club, but then we'll take 50-50 with the club. So the DAZN take 50 for providing the service and then 50 go to the club. I don't know, something like that. I don't see why that's not a good option.
Yeah, I think it's going to come at some point anyway. You'll have like streaming the football games and you'll have like, like fans commentating and the old like fan zone and stuff like that. I think it's just the way that people want to do it anymore, because I'm bored of it. Like I just can't be bothered to sit down and watch some Sky games anymore. I used to watch everything. Like I said before, I don't know if it's like an age thing, but it's just boring. I don't want to watch Liverpool and Wolves 50 times a season. And it's just the same old games all the time, and it's the same people on TV. And it's
such a boring mid-table Premier League clash, isn't it?
Yeah. But like Chelsea and Liverpool were on last night. And
it's another boring mid-table Premier League clash.
I was like, I can't be bothered to watch it. So I just literally couldn't be bothered to watch it.
Who are Liverpool and Chelsea? God, it's all about like Newcastle and who else is up there these days? Brighton,
Fulham,
Brentford. I can't believe Brentford are up there, man.
You know what I mean, though? Like, gotta pay. Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, can't you? Doing, paying like 80 quid a month for Sky to watch.
Liverpool are ahead of Brentford and Fulham. Sorry, everyone. They're on the same points as Brentford. That's crazy. Brentford are on the same points as Liverpool. The team that knocked us out of the playoff final 2 years ago are joint on points in the Premier League after 28 games with Liverpool.
And Brighton are like 4 points off the top four, are they? Something like that?
No, yeah, they are. They're 4 points off Man United, Man United with their best season in a long time, still fifth.
Yeah, can you imagine Brighton get top four?
And Tottenham, who sacked their manager, are in the top four. It's such a bit of a gulf, though, isn't it? Like, you got Arsenal starting to run away with it. Man City trying to catch them up, and then everyone else.
Yeah, it's literally...
it's going to be quite a poor points tally.
It is. But that's what's happening, obviously, with Man City's money. And thank God Arsenal are having a good season, because I think if Man City win it again, the Premier League is dead.
Yeah. It's very close to the relegation zone, though, isn't it? Like,
the relegation is mental.
Southampton are probably gone, but then from Leicester in 19th up to Crystal Palace in 12th. It's 5 points.
Yeah, and all the former Swans managers are under the cosh.
Oh, well,
Potter's gone. Rodgers is gone.
He can be assistant manager if he wants.
Yeah, Rodgers is gone. Potter's gone, and Cooper's on the verge.
Yeah, but
he?
Rodgers is probably going to go to Tottenham or something, isn't he?
Yeah, I would like to see Potter go to Tottenham. I think that was the job for him. He should never have gone to Chelsea, but he had to take the chance. But
you had to take it. I feel like Chelsea didn't know what they were asking for, really.
Yeah,
he's a project, isn't he? You get a project manager in the summer, not halfway through the season.
Yeah, but Chelsea are buy who he wants. Chelsea are the Watford of the Premier League. They just change managers all the time, just ridiculously.
They got the new guy now, haven't they? So they actually give Potter more time than I think he would have had under the last lot.
Yeah,
their form has been poor. They're in 11th place. It's their worst finish in forever if they stay there.
Yeah, well, it's not a bad shout. Actually, I didn't think of Rodgers, but either Rodgers or Potter go into Spurs. So I think I would be happy with that.
Cooper, I feel like it's because they spent so much money, probably.
Yeah, but you can't bring in 30 players. It's ridiculous. You only get a 23-man squad, so signing 30 extra players on top of what you got is ridiculous.
That's what happened to the 7. They couldn't register. Well, the youngsters.
I don't know. I don't know what they did because obviously they probably got rid of a few as well, but they would have had way too many players, wouldn't they, to register?
What I was going to say is, if they're still 17, so currently not going down, you've got to surely wait until they're still a newly promoted club. It's just because they spent so much money, he's under that pressure, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, but they gave him a new contract, didn't they? Not so long back.
Yeah, but they haven't won a game in 6 games or more. Everton have started to climb out, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, to say that, they're all joint on 27, 4 of them. West Ham, Everton, Forest, Bournemouth. So we got...
There's some big clubs in there.
From Palace down, so we've got Palace, Leeds. Palace could free fall in there because they sacked their manager stupidly. Palace, Leeds, Wolves, West Ham, Everton, Forest, Bournemouth, Leicester, Southampton. Say we're saying Southampton are gone. What are the 2? I would love it if it was Everton and West Ham.
It would be good, but that would make it impossible, even harder for us to go up next season. But
it would wear any of them, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, it would. But I think,
well, maybe not Forest. Forest would probably have to buy another 30 players just because they need to pay them more or less.
Yeah, I think I don't know. To see an Everton come down would just be interesting to see what that's like. Because West Ham have come down before.
Get back in the team if they come down.
Yeah, West Ham have come down before, haven't they? So we've seen West Ham in the Championship.
But Leeds have as well, and Wolves have, and Palace have for a while.
No, Palace, and I'd like Everton. Obviously, Everton never been relegated, have they? So I'd love to see Everton in the Championship, just because I just want to see it.
I feel like they're going to scrape their way out, though.
Yeah, they'll get out. They will.
It could be Leicester, Leicester looking a bit ropey.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've got a lot of financial troubles, haven't they, Leicester?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of went downhill, didn't it, after the owner died, didn't it?
Yeah, it's understandable, I guess. It's a bit sad. Yeah, so I mean, interesting times in the Premier League. I don't know, we got onto the Premier League, to be honest, but
we're talking about Sky, weren't we, and just watching all the Premier League games all the time.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll call it there. So thanks for your time, as always, Lee. And
no worries.
We'll try get one out. I'm going on holiday soon, so we're going to have to get one out next week. And then I'll probably we'll have to have a 2-week break because I won't be here. And then we'll see where the Swans are after that. But we'll get one out next week, and then hopefully that will keep you going for a couple of weeks, I guess. Thank you very much, as always, for joining us this far. If you're still here, let us know in the comments your favourite part of the double doube. And don't forget to click the big red subscribe button, and we shall catch you next time.
See you soon.
In a bit.